again, and welcome back to Destiny 2. And welcome to the first sweet rant of Destiny 2, actually. So, there's a lot to cover in and about Destiny 2, but today, we're gonna rip into one of the worst weapons in the game. No, not the tractor cannon. We're talking about the Legend of Acrius today. So, for those who are unaware, back when the raid came out, and I'm not talking about the raid layer on like the Eater Awards, I mean the original raid. The one on the Leviathan. The one called Leviathan. This one, grow fat from strength. You got to, and before that came out, even, you had a challenge to kill Cabal. They would drop a item called On the Comms, and it would tell you to kill Cabal on Nessus, which there's a couple of places where they spawn in at, but it was just kind of a pain in the ass. You then, after collecting 5 of the items that would randomly drop, you would get a challenge to await till the Eater or Awards would come. The Eater Awards was, of course, the Leviathan raid, where your job was simple: beat the raid. Except, when the raid came out, it wasn't that simple. Not just because people didn't know what they were doing. The main reason why the raid was so difficult was, quite frankly, it would bug to hell. Sure, the bats and the gauntlet were relatively easy, but the dogs were nightmarish. To the point where me and my team just started calling them Twitchy the Meth Hound. Because we had games where they would literally just spin in circles as they walked in one direction. It was a pain in the ass. And quite frankly, made doing the freaking raid a hassle. Now, once you completed the raid, you then had to complete an arms dealer strike. Once you completed that, you got the Legend of Acrius. Diet version. Now, what the hell do I mean by diet? How can a weapon be diet? Basically, all you had on it was Shock Blast. You didn't even have the full gun. It was 5 levels below the light level, and you only had this. Well, how did you get the other perks? You had to get, and this is if I'm not mistaken, you had to get double kills with the weapon without reloading. And remember, this thing had one shot. So you had to get double kills. You then had to kill Cabal up close and just get Cabal killed. So once you did all that, you had to go and do the raid all over again. This time, collecting special items called seals that were in each of the chests. And once you collected 10, you got that Legend of Acrius. Now, that is the entirety of the quest. However, most people who have done it would know that I left something out. There's another part of the quest that has it to where you need to complete the prestige raid. I leave this out because I myself have not done it. Because everybody I asked said that the prestige raid is not worth it. Which I'm willing to agree with. Like, what I've seen and what I know about each of the additional challenges for the raid, it's not worth completing the prestige version on. At least not yet. The 30th should hopefully change that. But why am I bringing that up? What's so special about... Oh, he blew it up. What's so special about the prestige mode. You got a fucking ornament for it. Legitimately, that's all you got. Now, that's bad. As it is. Like, that is abhorrently bad. To where, oh, you wanted the rewards for it? Well, too fucking bad for you, player. You have to wait. You have to give it time before you could even get the damn ornament for it. And to add insult to injury, a better ornament came out in Curse of Osiris. So, there had to be something good, right? Wrong. The fact that you had to go through all that pain, all that suffering, just to get this weapon is abhorrent. It's bad. Like, now note, I would like to compare this to the good quest line to get the Outbreak Prime, which was a puzzle that we had to solve. It made things interesting. And the Outbreak Prime, as many, including Big Rig, holds it, is one of the best exotics in Destiny, period. Like, he loves that gun. So why am I bringing this up? Why? Well, quite frankly, the Acrius sucks for all that walk that you had to do in order to get it. For one, yes, it will one-shot about anything, but the fact that it only has 2 rounds, note, 2 fucking rounds in the magazine. How did that, like, I mean, yes, it's a shotgun fusion rifle hybrid, and I get it, but note, even at the range that he was at, that should have dealt more damage. That should have killed him on the second shot. Lo and behold, it didn't. But, sweetie man, I hear you saying, like, can it really be that bad? Answer, yes, it can be. Because of one thing only. No, point blank, didn't kill. That's deployment time. Did you see how long that took me to just raise the weapon in order to fire? It takes too long. Where other heavy weapons, such as, oh, I don't know, Morcelets, just as, oh, I don't know, Watercliff, could be readied up, no time at all. This one takes ages to get prepped. Also, it's very difficult to actually get a critical hit with this thing. Like, by a critical hit, I mean, like, headshots or body shot. Like, on Vex, body shot. Why do I say that? Because the spread pattern doesn't work like that. Like, the spread pattern is always the same. And that, frankly, shouldn't exactly be how it works. Now, next up, let's talk about how, I don't know, let's pick a topic here. Let's go with the ultimate ability of it. Fall March. Now, I'm going to double check the name of that perk here in a moment. But basically, it increases your radar. Long and short of it, it does increase your radar range. Now, any of my Night Stalker brothers and sisters already have that perk. We can all... What the fuck am I down here? We can already extend the range of our attacks. Or of our radar, rather. Don't know why I said attacks. It makes no sense. And the worst thing is, it only works when you have the Acrius out. Isn't the Acrius supposed to be a PvP weapon? Yeah, and that's the key problem. Note, none, zip, nada, zilch, none of the other exotics, raid exotics from Destiny 1 were actually like that. They weren't made just for one thing. If you had the Mythic class, let's start there. If you had Mythic class, then good lord, you were set for life on both PvE and PvP. So, okay, that's one mode. Come on, are there any other weapons? Yeah, Necrochasm. Once Necrochasm got its buff, it was useful everywhere. It was a universally good weapon once it got its buff. Now, we could keep going on and just list off the ones that were good and the ones that were bad. Trust me, I owned every single one. The hard to get and the not so hard to get. Lo and behold, none of the raid exotics, at least back in Destiny 1, oh wait, there was only one other Destiny game, was a shotgun. Shotguns are, at least, and they should be, close range weapons. Every other gun, raid weapon, that was an exotic, and I mean like the final weapon. The Mythic class, the Necrochasm, the Touch of Malice, and last but not least, the Outbreak Prime, were all ALL primary weapons. Light rifles, and the like. Now, the main thing that made me want to make this video, that made me want to discuss my hatred of the Legend of Acrius, was something that I didn't even think of until recently. As many people know, we have a raid, a brand new raid with the Curse of Osiris. Granted, they're calling it a raid layer, and it's titled, and I quote, the Eater of Wards. Okay, that's interesting. Weren't we supposed to wait for the Eater of Wards? So a lot of people have been going through and been looking around to see if there's been anything like another raid exotic. So far, nothing. We got nothing else. And this is coming from people who have already like 50 something completions on the new raid. And note, it even doesn't have a problem taking down another. So, this is all we have as a raid weapon. And that is sorely disappointing. Oh my god. I can't tell you how disappointed I was when I found out there was no new raid weapon. Because this raid weapon, yes, it's good in PvP, but that's about it. And also, something that apparently a lot of people don't think about with that argument, it's a shotgun. So you gotta get up close and personal with whoever you're using it on. And if they see you coming a mile away, because they're using Uriel's gift, because they're using any other exotic that has good range and is great in the Crucible, you're straight fucked. There's nothing that you could do. Because you decide to take the Acrius then. Once again, there's so many better options for just a heavy weapon. Note, do you want a better weapon? I got 2 for you right now. No, I got 4 for you. You had the Merciless, the Watercliff Coil, it stared back, and Cordon Call / the sins of the past. Those four are drastically, insanely better than the Legend of Acrius. To where it's not even a competition. Like, it's... Like, when people ask, like, oh, hey, what's your favorite exotic from Destiny 2? How many people are going to say the Acrius? I could imagine no one. Because the weapon underperforms. They are asked, like, what's your favorite weapon exotic? Almost always, it's either going to be the Hive, the Watercliff, or my personal favorite, the Merciless. That's it. The end. Roll credits. Now, as a part of Sweet Rants in the past, I always come up with other solutions that they could have done. Because, in my opinion, there are other solutions to this problem. Besides, one, just give us raid weapons with each of the DLC. Like, let's admit it, that's a bit difficult. Especially with everything else that Bungie is working on. I'm willing to cut the guys some slack. Unlike some people I know. But, fact of the matter is, there's still a problem. We need solutions. Well, how about something interesting? For one, does anybody know why the Legend of Acrius was the raid weapon in the first place? Simple. It's a Cabal weapon. If you take a look at every single raid weapon from the past, they either had something to do with the primary enemy. Taking, you have taken, and excuse me. Woo! Bad ball. But in Taken King, you had, in the Rides of Iron, you had the Iron Lord / Siva. Oh, come on. That wasn't 10 minutes. And for Dark Below, you had, of course, the Hive. For House of Wolves, you had the Fallen. And normal game, you had the Vex. And each of them had their own special weapons. Technically, the Fallen had the most, even though they didn't have a raid. They had the Prison of Eldors, and they had 3. The Green Breaker Bow, the Lord of Wolves, and the Dragon's Promise. And those 3 weapons were actually pretty okay. I actually liked them. I know not a lot of people did, but I did. But, fact of the matter is, we still have a problem here. We need a weapon from the Cabal that works. Well, here's an easy one for you. They introduced new enemies into the game. So, why not use the new enemy to answer your problem? If you got a deficit in one location, maybe having too much of one thing in one location will help fix the deficit. Okay. So what enemy am I referring to here? None other than the Gladiators. I call them Gladiators. I know that's actually not their real name. Personally, I like what most people came up with and called them Butchers. Because, let's face it, you get on the bad end of that sword and that's what's going to happen. You're going to end up like meat. Chopped into teeny tiny little bits. But those blades could work for you. We don't have an exotic sword in the game, so why not use those blades? Okay, so that's one solution. Do we have any others? Yeah. I mean, that's if they still want to continue on with the close range angle. You want to go for the exact opposite? Give us those those rifles that the Scions use. Make it a linear fusion rifle. Boom. Like, I mean, that is technically a new class of weapon that was put into the game. So wouldn't it make sense for you to use that weapon for something? And I mean, those are just the 2 weapon classes that don't yet have anything. So why not just make use of them? If you still aren't satisfied and you want a fourth option, well, there's just no pleasing you, is there? Let's go with option number 3. There's only one exotic rocket launcher in the game, being the Watercliff. So why not make an exotic rocket launcher out of the boom cannons that the Centurions use? And that sounds like it has potential, right? Like, oh, you want a giant ass cannon? Boom, here's a giant ass cannon. Go nuts, kid. Anything else I can think of? Yeah, actually. There was one weapon class that actually kind of upset me to see go, and it was my personal favorite weapon class from Destiny 1. Anybody who watched my streams would know this one. It's the large machine guns. Like, I love the LMGs from Destiny 1. And not having them anymore kind of makes me sad. Like, they were my bread and butter. I would use them over exotics even. Like, even over Yellowhorn. Even over Sleeper sometimes. I would use my LMGs. And I mean particularly the corrective measure. The corrective measure was a nightmare. Especially if you got a good enough roll on it. Like, oh my god, that gun was beautiful. And yet, LMGs are no longer part of the game. So why not give us something like what the Colossus uses? Like, make it a chain gun. Now, I know the next thing that a lot of you are thinking. All those ideas are fine and dandy, but don't we need something to make some intrinsic perks on them? True, but I also know for a fact that there's really creative people out there on like DeviantArt, on even the Bungie forums that could come up with some really clever ideas for these. Hell, I remember right before the Rise of Iron came out, seeing somebody's post about like a bunch of Cabal weapons that they could put into the game. Like, and one of them was something along the lines of what I just proposed. The long and short of it is, the Acrius was not worth the pain that it took to get, and is not worth overall the fact that we will not get another raid weapon. As far as quest lines go, the quest to get it was also just a giant annoyance. Whereas, you take a look at Outbreak Prime, you take a look at any other raid weapon, you'll see exactly what I'm referring to. They want the easiest quest in the world. God knows that they want the easiest quest. Especially with how the one for the Outbreak was bugged. They were bugged to shit. But it was still fun. It still made it engaging on the raid. Get it. I have friends that even right now refuse to do the raid, like any raid in Destiny 2, because they don't think that they'll get a good reward for it. And I can't blame them. No, the raid team has split up because Destiny 2 doesn't have good enough raid rewards to make us want to raid. Final and non-final rewards. It is so insanely sad that I have to report that, frankly, I don't think there's ever going to be another Raiders of the Lost podcast, because so far Destiny 2 had just been wholly upsetting when it comes to raids. So they need to, one, make it worth our time to raid. Give us an exotic to strive for. A weapon that will make us be like, you know, today's the day. I'm going into that raid and I'm not leaving till I get so-and-so. Till I get the butcher's knife. Till I get something. And generally, that will make it to where it will relieve a lot of stress and pain from Bungie. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a man who's been playing Destiny since today, before the beta. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you all so much for watching. And I'll be seeing you all in the next video of whatever the hell I make. Till then, peace out.